I basically found an entire neighborhood in St. Louis where most of the people living there had immigrated from the same city or two in Sicily. So I posted this on my Descendants of Carini Sicilia. I don't like Facebook generally, but it works really well for family history and genealogy work. So it basically started with this 1910 census for St. Louis. And just looking at the names, because if you're doing enough research on immigrants, and you're going to a particular town in Europe, in my case, it's Carini, Sicilia, which is in the Palermo province, you're going to see that there's going to be names common to that city. It doesn't mean that they're not another, like Randazzo is extremely common. It's more common in this part of Sicily. This is what I noticed with the names. Colli or Lucoli, Cusimano, very, very common. I have a 2 times great-grandmother, Caterina Cusimano, my own Nona, was known for her. Cavoli, we come down here, Vitali. Then I saw this. Let me blow that up. We got Palazzolo. Incorrectly, Palazzolo. Cocura, Finazzo, Palazzolo, Leone, Pizza, Palazzolo, Finazzo, Manino. One of the most common names in Carini, Vitali, and then Palazzolo again. And here's a big giveaway, Ventimiglia. And that continues up here. Laura or Julia. Yeah, very uncommon. Pasalaca, Costa, and Palazzolo again. And which is really cool because it gives, in the census, it says they're all working for the street railroad. So when we go back to this, we can see, yeah, they're all working for a lot of them are working for the railroad. So this is really helping to put together the pieces of these families and when, and why they came over. It's easy when our immigrant family went to Detroit because they went to work in the auto industry. So my guess here, when I got posted here, I thought it was going to be a mix of Carini and Terracini. And I wasn't wrong, but I wasn't. It's more accurate to say that in what I found out, that's why because what I found out was the Ventimiglia was the big giveaway. I was dead on the money that it was Terracini. But it turns out that the majority of the people that I have on here are from right next door in Genesee. Now, I should have known better. Those 3 cities, very, very interrelated. A lot of mia familia, Genesee and Terracini also. So not a big surprise there. So the big question here is, did I find anybody that was related to me? Now, this would be a tremendous amount of work, especially because a lot of the men listed are there's no spouse, so it's a lot more difficult to find. So it was a lot, basically it's a lot easier to find where it's a couple, it's a man and a wife, and you have children. So here, like I mentioned, you have Laura or Julia, not a common name. So I went for the Ventimiglia, so we'll blow that up a bit. So I have Vito and Antonina. Now, I'm not going to go through everything, but I did find who they were, and I didn't have them on my tree. I have a lot of people from Genesee and Terracini. See, and that's where Vito and Antonina Ventimiglia, that's where they are from. Actually, they were married in Genesee, but they were both born in Terracini. So I do have them now on my tree. I had their children out. This is what's important, what helped me track down and know that I had the right people. The children are listed as Laura or Julia and Vincenzo. So the European naming tradition is that you name for your nonni or your grandparents. So that's where when I did get into the records and I had a Vincenzo and a Laura Vitali and Vito Ventimiglia, I was able to confirm that. And I found some other records that were able to confirm I had the right people. I was actually able to get back. So if you can see here, for Ventimiglia. Ventimiglia is one of the most common names in Terracini. So if you see in a record Ventimiglia, you get like a 99% chance that they are from Terracini. So I was able to get pretty far back. And what's interesting is I came across a Paolo Pagano, which is definitely a Carini name. So here I'm looking at Vito Vitali and Teresa Pagano. So I got to find a connection here with Carini. There has to be. So when this came up, it seemed like it would be a no-brainer yes, we had that. I was able to find that Carlo Pagano was born in Canini about 1790, married Anna Tormina, who, another very common name. They were actually married 13 October 1811 in Canini, and then, of course, they moved to Terracini, but I was able to get the wedding record because the Canini records are amazing. So here we have Paolo Pagano, 13 October 1811. That's the information there. Very, very cool. And it turns out, I just noticed this. I don't remember seeing this before. He has a brother here who is married, let's see, just a few days before. So, yeah, he was the previous record. So that's Francesco and then the brother Paolo. So that's really cool. I was able to find basically a whole neighborhood that's from Genesi, Sicilia, with a handful, one or two over here, like the Ventamias that are from Terracini. But if I was to go through and show you his background there, a lot of the lines do go back to Genesi. So it's probably an indication as to why they're all living in the same neighborhood. They came from the same town, and a lot of these families are probably related. So keep in mind when you're researching your immigrant family in Europe, let's say, and be aware of the names, because the names are probably going to be seen again when you look at census records like this.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.